should be authorized to be here.
I'll break it over your head. Get away from me, you crumb.
There is a
You're a crumb creep cow. I want to fight you.
Why is that?
Because you're a crumb creep lush cow.
You don't even know me, Mayor.
You are a lush, I can tell by looking at you.
Just a cowboy from a one-horse town. But such a young boy may be the toughest around. Outlaw posse, 6-gun blazing high. Do or die. Life to live like Billy the Kid. Wanted. Regulators mounting for a ride. All the traders running out of time. Hear the lawman say they'll run him down out of town. This man has slipped twixt the cup and the lip. Wanted. Shift the wind and turning of the tide. Cover of moonlight, it's a midnight
Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy snowy Friday if you're on the East Coast. And I guess the central states.
Eric, I know you're right there. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we didn't have you waiting too long.
No, I already posted that we would be running late.
Okay.
And how are you, Eric? And we have Barb in the house as well. Welcome everybody. How's it where you are? Well, Barb, I know how it is where you are.
And we know how it is where you are, Barb. We're
It
there.
sucks. It sucks big time. Yeah, it's miserable today. I hate it. But Grandpa went out with the kids because
Yuck.
I wasn't
Oh,
going
man.
to. It,
I wasn't planning on it. I just kind of got roped into it. And
yeah, I don't do snow. I just hate it. So, I hope everybody was safe. Rich actually made it home in a good time, and I hope he wasn't going too fast to get home. I know some people are saying that the roads are very slippery, but I guess that is depending on where you're at I know some of the back roads are pretty slick. And tomorrow it'll be a lovely 7 degrees with the wind chill factor and 40-mile-an-hour winds. So it'll be a horrible day for me because I hate the cold.
That me. I'll be in front of the boob tube all day.
If there's anybody out there struggling, not sure how many people are sitting in the background, but if you are and you have the capability of popping into the comments and sharing what you're struggling with, please do so. That's what we're here for, to share our, experiences and what we've been through. And Eric is an awesome person to
Hey, Erica, when's the last time you heard the expression boob tube?
boob tube.
I don't know where that came from. It just came into
Yeah.
my head all. I don't think I've used it in like 30 years.
Yeah. And why is it the boob tube? What makes it a boob?
It's just the boob sitting there. I don't know.
I don't know. Or I guess because you're just sitting there gawking at it. I don't know. I guess it was more of a guy thing. I don't know.
It's just a dated expression.
Yes, very dated. I'm just waiting for some people to pop in here. I see a few people sitting in there, but I know that there's people that sit in the background, so I don't really ever know how many people are actually out there.
Got an ad today for Narcan on Amazon. Well,
Wow.
pricey still. I think it was like $45, $46.
Well,
They put a price on saving a life, but there's plenty of free Narcan available out there. You hunt around. Mm-hmm. But it's come down dramatically from when we first got involved in this. And it was
Yeah.
like $160 for it or something like that. It was some ridiculous
Right.
price.
and also, like, if you're out there, I know here in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of outreach groups that can get Narcan for us. There's a lot of different recovery programs out there. Bucks County Drug and Alcohol, they can get you Narcan. They can get you a lot of things. They can get you the prescription lock boxes. They can get you, what is it, Dex something, and you put the medication in there and it dissolves it. It's just a bag full of like kitty litter, but it's not kitty litter. It's some kind of a compound that absorbs all the medications. And let's see. Oh, and they have these really cool medicine bottles where, especially when you have elderly people, you put it into the bottle, your prescription inside this bottle, and you set the date for it, and it will tell you if you have had your medication or not. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. And so like, did I take my medication? And every time you open the lid, it changes the time. So you always know where, when you had taken your medication. So that's a pretty cool tool for, having our seniors or having anybody that is struggling with memory loss or whatever. Just a reminder on how, when you took your medications or not. Larry is in the house.
Oh, thank goodness.
And Larry will be coming on with us in celebration of coming up on his 7 years.
Ooh, man, 7
On the
years.
26th, we will have Larry in the house. Mike was supposed to be here again tonight, but Mother Nature said,
He got
just
these
not.
storm clouds following him around. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to have Mike on there because
my
every
gosh.
time he says, "Oh, I'll be on," we get this crap. So, no, he'll be, we will be setting up another date for Mike C. when he gets a chance. He'll be here. And I had word that we might have another guest coming in October. So I'm looking forward to that.
In October, huh?
In October.
Wow, we're really forecasting ahead.
Yeah. So, and it's a return guest. that has moved away and will be in town for a wedding. So
Oh.
we have a mystery guest coming.
I think I know.
But yes, I'm excited for Larry. He on his 7 years coming up, it'll be awesome. And he's just got a good story to tell, and you know, he takes a lot out of the meetings that he attends, and he can go into a meeting and come out just focused on some of the things he took out of the meeting that helped him. Sometimes he gets a little pissy about it, but you know what? He thinks about it.
He was an easygoing guy.
He is.
Yeah.
But sometimes things get said that he gets a little pissy about. But that's where his
You mean like, no, I'm not going.
that's how
Like last week. I'm not going there.
but this is where the program helps him. He can turn that around and make it
Oh my God!
Make
who
it
knows
better
what
for
happened to
him.
Bagels. That's just craziness.
the eagles turned into sparrows. I don't know what the hell happened. They bombed, and they were doing so good. And you know, that's our Philly teams. Yay, go Philly teams.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yes, it is. But just, you know, we're coming off the holidays. We're coming off of New Year's especially. So how did everybody make out on their New Year's? Because that's a big, you know, night that everybody's surrounded by people that may be drinking. And how did we handle that? How did we...
Especially being surrounded by rookies drinking
Yeah, especially rookies.
who just don't know their limits and tend
Right.
to be overindulge a bit, let's say. And they become obnoxious.
Yeah. And the holidays that's a big time for people to really have a lot of mental issues. Not mental, but you know, they're always thinking, you know, why me? Why can't I? You know, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I just pick up one? And you know, oh, I had a breakup. Oh, you know, I didn't have the money to, you know, get gifts for anybody. Well, you know what? This year was this year. Next year's going to be a better year. And, you know, some people let that get into their head and fall back on, you know, the numbing drug of choice. And it's just, you know, we're here and we're listening, and I can't say it enough. If you need that support, you need somebody to talk to, and your contacts aren't picking up because it's the holiday, maybe, and you can't get a hold of your sponsor or your phone list, we're always here. We're always available to talk to. And apparently nobody struggled this holiday season because I didn't get many phone calls at all. So, hooray!
Sometimes no news is good news.
Yes, yes. And I want to put out there too, if your loved one was active or in treatment, that doesn't mean that next year they won't be sitting at the table with you for the holidays. So you just have to hold that hope, because there's so many families out there that, you know, had that empty chair and were just, you know, really down on their holidays because they want their loved ones there. They just know that sometimes it's something that they can't really, you know, do because of other family members are like, if they're there, then I'm not going to be there. And I know it doesn't seem fair, but, you know, there are the consequences that we have to deal with when our loved ones are struggling. So always keep that in mind, that, you know, there's more than the person that is active that we have to consider sometimes. And we forget that. We have a tendency to forget that there are other members of the family that have been hurt, are so upset watching what our loved ones are going through with their sibling or spouse. And that's what they're there for. They're there to pick you up. But if they're sitting there watching that continuous cycle of the fighting and then the manipulating and the anger, then we have to remember that our loved ones are watching this, and we're so connected to the one that's struggling that we forget that the ones that don't have this problem are sitting there listening to all of this all the time.
I'm leaning up. I'm sitting here like this, so I just don't look like that heavy guy.
That heavy guy. that heavy Biden lover.
That cut me deep. No, I said we were going to go there. That cut me deep, man. When did somebody tell me I was heavy? Why did any of you people ever tell me?
He hasn't eaten since last Friday.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, let's hope we don't have that tonight. People.
Yeah, I don't know if all you got to see the comments last week when things went off the rail and I got a little perturbed.
Yes.
It was just ridiculous. So what was going on? Apparently all the responses online weren't coming up. So some people are confused, like, what the hell is going on?
Yes. I did find a way to get them, and I did get it over to Eric. We were making some conversation over the comments that had come through. But it's really hard to find them sometimes. It's, once the show has aired, you just have to start hitting buttons till you find it. And
too many buttons.
that's what we did. I found the button that
Buttons. You see all the buttons here, man. There are buttons everywhere.
There's buttons
there, and there are buttons here, and
I don't even.
There are buttons everywhere.
I don't even know where any of what these buttons do. They're crazy.
It's pretty complicated here. It's pretty involved.
It looks like we're gonna have a very
It is
small group
a
tonight.
professional sound studio
Right, but
that we get
people
to operate out of.
may not plug in till 9:30. So,
Very big.
so how was your holidays? Somebody share their holidays and how they got through them. I know it's a struggle for some people, and
Dead air.
I know that when
dead air.
it was my loved one, it was very hard. But when they were away, and you sit there and you think, oh my gosh, will they ever be back at the table again? Will they ever be able to sit, with the family again? And there is that hope. You have to hold on to that hope.
And in time, things went back to normal. Mm-hmm. And by the grace of whoever. Mm-hmm. But it's all good now. It's all good.
Yes.
And I got 2 super awesome grandchildren now to add to the tribe.
Yep.
So it's like more fun.
Yes, that he got to go out and play in the snow with today. Hoping that
My grandson, man, he don't know when to come in. It don't bother him. He had that one glove on. I'm arguing, fighting with him. Put the glove on. He don't care. I'm fine. I'm fine. My granddaughter, I got a snowflake on my eyelash. And that lame boy, he's tough.
Yeah, they would stay out all day if they didn't get called in, because Lane, he just goes all over the place. I don't know how he doesn't come in and just pass out. It just cracks me up how much he stays out there and runs around in that.
And he's not even 3 yet, He'll be 3.
Yep, in 1 week. 1 week and 2 days, he'll be 3 years old. I can't even believe that. Time is just flying by.
Seems like yesterday I had a 32 waist.
Have you ever had a 32 waist?
Yeah, when I was 10. Huskies.
Yes.
A 32 Husky from Robert Hall.
And how many people have broken that I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna be back to my high school.
The New Year's resolution.
The resolutions,
Oh, my God.
which last Friday happened to be the day that
Everybody breaks their resolution. Right?
yeah, the day that the resolution
Goes default.
stops. Or they say, oh wait, I said I was going to do this, and well, I haven't done it yet, so I might as well just wait till next year.
I make easy ones. They're easy, to follow.
I don't even make them because I know that sugar is always going to be there, and
Well, it's not to put anchovies on my pizza this year. Stuff like that. Easy stuff. Easy stuff.
grandbaby daddy had his first sober holidays and loved it. Then he got drunk and wrecked the car. Oh no.
Geez, so sorry to hear that.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, I'm sorry. And unfortunately, that happens. Hopefully, they have learned from that. I know sometimes it takes, a little longer, but hopefully they've learned from that and get back on track, because it's hard. The holidays are hard. And, without staying connected, you have that more than 50% chance of just, going right back to it. So, stay connected. That's the one thing. I profess progress, not perfection. Absolutely. Whatever it takes, whatever you need to do to get that next day. And sometimes, it can be a struggle. And sometimes you will be there and you're like, I'm not going to bug them. It's Sunday. They're with their family. I'm not going to call them because they may be here or there. That's why it's so important when you're going to these meetings that you get a nice list of people. Your sponsor's really important, because your sponsor is going to be the one that is there for you to help you through working the program, whatever program that would be. And the other contacts are those that really hit a chord with you, somebody that you heard a story from and you found that there's some similarities and you want to be connected with that person because you want to know what it took for them to get to where they are today. That's important. That's what the WE program is. And it doesn't matter if it's AA, it doesn't matter if it's any MAT program, medically assisted treatment program. You still need a support system out there, because you are destined to fall if you're not staying connected with a group of people that have been through what you have been through.
Yeah,
and-
let's face it, you're only human, and
Right.
you need that camaraderie. You really do. I mean, peer pressure could also be a positive thing too. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we need that cheering section or whatever you want to call it, or that support. I mean, just to get you through certain things. I mean, before you start sitting there and getting it in your head and making bad decisions and so forth. Mm-hmm. Now, with your son, I'm sure he's really down on himself now. Slipped out, wrecked the car, you just beat yourself up and sink into your depression again. It's just because of one bad decision.
Yep.
It's tough, man. It's horrible.
Yes. And yes, trusting a person with some personal information is difficult. And that's a big part of the recovery process, is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is really a really big part of that. And if you can't, then, you know, work the program, work the workbook, and try and, you know, figure a few things out for yourself as well. Because really, I can't say it enough, getting the stuff that's sitting in your chest out so you're not falling back to that same
Bob, you should come to
circle.
a dance. I can introduce you to some super women that you would resonate with. That would be gladly, be able, I'm sure would be able to take you on board as a sponsor. I mean, there's so many awesome people show up there. I won't mention
Yes.
their names, but they know who they are.
Yes,
Some of them
there's
tune into this show.
yes, and they're really awesome, and trusting somebody with that. I mean, that's why we go into these programs, because it's a place where you can reach out to people and talk to them and know that it'll stay there. And we would hope that it would stay there, because that is an important part of it.
You know, and they're hard to shock. I mean, everybody's got a story, and the stories are all very similar. Once you hear so many, I mean, they really are. So it's not like you're going to be the talk of the town or something. They know what you're going through. They've been through it,
Right.
and they're not going to judge you on it. That's the greatest part. I mean, they're not. They're just not.
Right.
I
And
mean, these people that we would send your way are definitely have embraced their recovery and are like really good about it, and know what they're doing.
right. And the meetings are a social place. That is a place where you can go and you can talk about anything and get what's, you know, really bothering you out, and hearing the steps that they went through to you know, get to where they are today in their recovery. That is so important, to find those people that you can find that trust in. But if you're not going regularly, you're not going to find those people. You're going to get a mixture of just different people. And that's why it's important to keep connected and try to find that home group and stick with it. And a home group is something that resonates with you and you continue going back and you don't want to miss that meeting. That's where you're going to find your sponsor. That's where you're going to find the people that resonate more with you. And that is very important, is to find that group. But it's also important to find that group that resonates with you and will call you out on your shit. That is the most important. You know, if they're just tapping on the back and saying, you know, oh, you know, it'll be okay, we'll just start over. No, they want you want the person that says why, how, when, what triggered you. You want somebody to bring out what's causing these relapses.
And many times they'll do this before the relapse even happens, because they're always asking you, talking back and forth, or asking, and they're going to notice something in your demeanor or your or whatever. Say, is everything okay? What's going on? And they can get that relapse before it even happens. I mean, they'll talk to you, reassure you, solidify things, or whatever you want to call it. And that's what sponsors do.
Yeah, and that's what the program does. The program keeps you connected with the people that you need to be with. It keeps you, you know, on the right path. Serious, there's nothing better than being with a group of people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. And that goes for depression, anxiety, like anything.
And also finding a good meeting, like we said before, not only goes for the person affected by a substance use disorder, but a family member who has someone with a substance use disorder is looking for a meeting. Yeah, the first meeting you may go, like in a family support type, may not be to your liking. So, you know, you try a different one. Try till one resonates
With you.
And you know, there's so many meetings out there. You would be shocked until you start inquiring to see how many are out there. It's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, it's when somebody gives you the link to, AA or NA or CA or whatever, and you see the list of meetings and all different times. So there's like no excuse. There's a meeting somewhere all the time.
Yeah, all the time, 24
And-
hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, it's always something.
Right. And if you can't find one, then you're not on the right link for sure. But if you can't find one, there's also, online meetings that you can do that get your, feet wet. Just try them out. So this is the way they run. This is how they do the meeting. So you're not going in blind. It's, you know what to expect. You know what's going to take place. So the only good thing that came out from COVID is this these Zoom meetings, which really most people can't feel connected to it.
I can't.
I can't. I
I mean, I'm
prefer.
not saying they're bad. It's just-
right, they're-
I love in-person meetings. I mean, we did in-person all through COVID. Mm-hmm. We had access to in-person meetings. We were very fortunate.
And
I even had a barber shop that was open all through COVID. We had to peek through the blinds. The police were checking doors across the street in the strip mall.
yep.
I mean, all business is supposed to be closed. We got the lights turned down, getting our hair cut like criminals.
Yes. Sorry, guys. And just so you know, tonight we do have our call line back up and running.
Yeah, we should be back in the saddle tonight. It's up on the screen there, 267-737-8031 for
Yes.
the hotline.
So we do have that opened again. Rich did his magic, and hopefully it's working.
And a lot of patience last week. He had to put in that it was some kind of a software issue, a little update and this, that. Everybody knows how that works with computers.
Right.
Computers are our friends. The time my phone has an update, I have an issue with something crazy, wacky. I still don't have speakerphone on my phone since the one update.
No.
Oh, there we go. Came out of rehab, got right on the Zoom, and that's how I got sober for me. No problem with Zoom. There you go.
There you go. And Christine, if I'm telling you, if you are looking for a lady friend that will help you and listen to you and
Now,
share
Barb,
her experience,
Barb, if you're looking for, or whatever.
she's an awesome person to connect with. She's been on the show. She's been a guest at our meetings, on our speaker meetings.
Yeah, Barb, Christine would be a great person to talk to, even if she wasn't up to a sponsor. She could maybe direct somebody your way. Mm-hmm. But Christine's awesome. We love her a lot.
Yes, and her story is wow. And
Very impactful.
and to see
she's
her
very
in
truthful.
recovery is beautiful. So check it out. And for those that enjoy the sober dinner dances, we have one coming up on February 24th from 7 to 11 p.m. The same thing. This is our sober Valentine's dinner dance. And same
And a
same
chicken
thing.
parm cut in the shape of hearts. Add a little excitement.
Yeah, and because that was one of our big dances. So that's coming up. So check it out if you are.
Hello, Dawn. Glad to see you out there.
Yes, if you are interested in tickets, you can always hit me up. I have the flyer out on my page and on Living Hopeful's page. So if you want to check that out, please. Taylor's in the house.
Hey, we know, Taylor, we know your dad could be on the show tonight. He's out jumping car bumpers, sliding behind him with his friends tonight or something.
Yeah. So, that is coming up. And if you are interested in if you are interested in, donating a basket, a service, gift card, whatever,
Make 'em money. There you go.
to help raise money for someone that is coming out of recovery or treatment, I'm sorry, and heading into recovery. We help with the little things that, are important to stay on track after treatment and stay connected. So that's what we do. And
What a great day with this weather.
oh my God,
I
it
had everything
sucked.
so I went into work for an hour for them saying, "Hey, I just head home. Be safe." I was like, "Oh, thanks. Okay." That 45-minute ride was exciting. But shut up. They gotta pay me. Mm-hmm. It's great working for somebody again. I just started working for the company January 1st. After 17 years working for myself, I parked my truck and I'm driving somebody else's truck, and I love it.
Eric posts, how do you manage to teach someone how to let go of resentments? Like lots of resentments.
Yeah, man, that takes time. Things I must earn. I mean, it doesn't happen fast. But I think in time, through a person's actions and all, it'll allow people to release some of that resentment. I mean, wow, when people are in the throes of addiction, they burn a lot of bridges, man. They cause a lot of pain to people, and it takes a while. I don't think there's a really an easy answer to that.
No, it depends on the person too, on how much they hold in, how much they keep in. If you're not out there, and you're not out there and you're not getting all of this stuff that's sitting in on your chest, like I always say.
Oh no, Larry, you don't have a kidney stone, do you? Oh, does he?
No, he wants
okay.
he wants chicken parm in the shape of kidneys, and throw a stone in it.
Oh, okay.
But
You're worried there, buddy.
But that's important that you're talking about it. You're trying, and if you can't talk about it, if it's something that is really digging at you and you can't talk about it yet because it just creates such anger, then write it down, journal about it, and get it out so that it's not sitting there. Because the more you get it out, the more you talk about it, the more you share with somebody that might have been through it as well, you're going to find yourself really getting less anger, unless it's like something with an anniversary date and that anniversary rolls around. You may continue with that resentment, but you may start to find that it gets a little easier every time. So it really
Because people are so used to seeing the same scenario play out time and time and time and time again with people. They just think, they give up hope, they give up everything. So, I mean, in time, when people see positive changes in another person's, behaviors and such and all like that, it makes it easier to let go of some of that resentments. I mean, let's face it, it may never be let go. I mean, nothing's a given. I mean, some people just carry that on forever. I mean, that's the way people are. I mean, it's life. I mean, they just have a hard time letting go. They've been hurt so bad. And for some people, it's like a protection mode, to keep that resentment up. I mean, it doesn't allow that person to hurt them again,
right,
or stuff like, what I mean. It's kind of like a self-perseverance type thing,
right.
I mean, they put up that tough shell.
And if you keep that resentment going, the only one it's bothering or hurting is you, because you're staying in it. That person may have already moved on from that, and they're living a calm, peaceful life, and you're still holding it in. So they're still they still have a hold on you. They still are grabbing you. And until you find a way to let it go, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through sharing in groups, whether it's sharing with a sponsor or a close friend, you know, as long as you're sharing it, it's releasing a little bit of that pressure that builds and teaches you a new way of handling, you know, certain things that came up. And like me, I had a lot of resentment growing up simply because of my father's lifestyle, through his, you know, addiction. And I held on to that for a very long time. But once I had, you know, gotten into learning about addiction and everything is when I was able to let go of it. I don't, you know, I wish maybe at this point he was still here so I could share what I've learned over the 8 years that I've been dealing with that. So, Victoria is in the house.
I mean, I have resentments in my life, you know, for family members, which I'm not real proud of. You know, I have a very strange relationship with my mother and my father. Mm-hmm. You know, and my mother has since passed away, and kind of hurt me. Nobody even told me. Kind of bizarre, and that bothered me some. I mean, I'm not that callous of a person, but you know, it's just everybody playing games and resentments and mind games and this and that. You know, it's kind of sad. You know, and it is what it is. But you know, I don't socialize with those folks because of resentments. Mm-hmm. But you know, and I say, you know, don't bother me. I'm a lot better off for it all, but it does kind of bother you some. I mean, you don't want to have to be like it. Nobody. Yeah, but I'm lucky. My wife's family is super. I mean, her whole extended family are awesome, and they've actually showed me what it's like to be in a family of civil people.
Yeah,
lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. So I really don't miss out on that. I may lost a couple family members, but I gained a whole bunch more.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them. And he's got to figure it out, Eric. He's, you know, doing the same thing over and over again is just, you know, building that chaos. And he's going to hold on to those resentments until he can talk about it and let it go. Until he can understand the place that it was coming from. So he has to look at the person, the situation, the place that's causing these resentments and learning about them and why they do what they're doing. My dad couldn't, you know, do what he change his ways because he never got the help for his addictions to alcohol and then to drugs. He was never violent with us. He was just, you know, everything was about the beer and then it came to everything about the drugs. And, you know, it just, and he's no longer with us, so I can't, you know, say, you know, I'm sorry, Dad, but, you know, this is how I felt, and kind of, you know, help that out. But we do have a caller.
See how the call line works. Hello, caller.
We be pissy sometimes.
Well, the call line works.
Now,
How
come on.
dare you?
Now, come on, Larry. You know it.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
I know
don't
it.
know him to be pissy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not
I
saying
really
every
definitely
time.
Yeah, I can't be happy all the time. Yes, I
No.
know.
Because
No.
that's not life. That's, you know, living life on
That's
life's
not me.
terms. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to go on your show next week. You know, I'm
Yes.
looking forward to it. You know, it's a couple more days till my sobriety date. And, you know, every time it gets close, I get a little squirrely, thinking about things that were and how, you know, the progress that I've made I'm going to sound conceited about it, but it's the things I've done and the help of other people who've helped me get to where I am today. I mean, consider where I was 7 years ago, and compared to now, it's like two different worlds. I can imagine, like, how did I get that way? How the hell did I become such a drunk and a loser, and and fight to get my life in some kind of order?
Mm-hmm.
And things are good now. I mean, they're getting better all the time. Oh, it could be a Beatles tune. Okay, never mind. But another
This
thing
is
I
a
want to bring
sound
up
studio.
is the resentment thing. Yeah, I mean, like doing the step work, marking down like the step forward, you write down people, that you think you hurt or they hurt you, and it's a growing, it's a like learning thing for me, and then making amends to people that I've hurt, and turn around, and then when things happen to you, and look, I have resentments, I had people or things that happened that, I wouldn't let go of. I really wouldn't let go of. I was so bitter. I mean, when I was drinking, that was just one thing after another. I would make minor things gigantic and major things catastrophic, and I would hide behind a drink because I hated this or this happened or that happened, and now I realize it's like, wow, all I had to do is just let it go. Just let it go, because if I keep a resentment for any amount of time, like you said, it's going to hurt nobody but myself. And I don't need that. Yeah, you learn. I learn, I should say, from my resentments toward a person or a thing, and realize that nothing's going to change. So why dwell on it? Sure, I have a different an opinion about that person now. Maybe because I learned something. Maybe I anticipated something one way and it went the other way, and there's my resentment. And right away, it's not me, it's them, or whatever that problem was.
Right.
It was never me. It was always them. And then I had to look in the mirror and say, was it them? Come on, I built this resentment, this like nasty attitude toward whatever it was or whomever it was, and it's a learning thing. And it's tough for some people who are trying to help the next person to, teach them about resentments and how to let it go, and and just I hate to say grow up, but it's just like just let it pass, because it's not going to do anybody any good. It's not going to do, like with me, it wasn't going to do me any good. So my opinion might change, but but also change. Like I realize that don't get mad because it didn't go your way. Don't build a resentment because this didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And so I started thinking, it's like, let it go, man. Just look in that mirror. It's not all your world, Larry. The world doesn't revolve around you, and just move on. Move on. Keep walking. So, yeah, it's crazy. It took me a while to learn it, and sometimes it comes back to bite me. Sometimes I get that instant. I can feel it inside me, like that
Exactly.
instant, like,
You can feel it build. Yep.
yeah. SOB, I hate you. You did this to me. No, I did it to myself 99% of the time. Yeah, because I was a spoiled little, 73-year-old, 72-year-old spoiled baby. Excuse me.
Yes.
And it's nuts.
Right. And since you're on the line, we have Victoria from Canada.
Oh, Canada.
She says, my son can't see that he's an alcoholic and need help. As a family member, we can say things and tell them how we feel, but they will never hear it until they have decided to get help for themselves. I didn't see it for a long time until he pushed me down the stairs and says that he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that blackout shit.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And, knowing your past and what it took for you, can you share that?
That, the world is really, nothing that Victoria could do, really. I mean, the person, to put it quite simply, the person has to want it and go out and get it.
Right.
Like they do with the family meetings. She has to put up her boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting pushed down the steps is pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And I know
mean,
she
that's-
set her boundary on that. I do know Victoria, and I know she set her boundary on that, and she's sticking with it. And kudos to her for being able to do that. But you always said, like, your family was always pushing you and telling you, and what,
Yeah.
how did you feel about that?
Well, I didn't like them because they were wrong. I wasn't a drunk, even though I don't remember half the shit I did.
Right.
And half the time, but they were right, and it had to come down to me. All the family, they pushed me, they tried to help me, and in the end, they just dropped me because I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening. I wasn't doing anything about my alcoholism. And, I felt sorry for myself. I didn't like them. Then I loved them. And you know how it goes round and round that
Yeah.
when I'm drinking circle. You
Right.
hate them 1 minute, you love them the next.
The
Yeah,
hub-
they're right. No, they're wrong. They don't know me.
They
A
don't know
little-
what's I'm going through.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's the same stuff over and over again until I had that moment with my cousin. So and that sparked me to say, drop everything and start working on yourself. It's more than that. Just not drinking anymore. It's like that changed my whole life. It changed my whole thinking. I can't let stuff build on me that's not important as a contributing factor for me to get mad. I take it out on everybody by drinking. And what that good did that do?
Right.
Took it out on nobody but me. Blackout drinking and not knowing what happened. And, when it got to the point where I'm like, I'm living in my parents' house by myself, but I'm sober now. It was different. It was worse before when I would come home and I'd get drunk and there was nobody to stop me. And I could sit in my own head and hate and cry and do go from one end to the other. But it was always everybody else's fault.
Right.
So I came to realize that, no, it's not. It's my fault.
Right.
I'm not they didn't push me to get drunk. They didn't push me to have an attitude that I had. And now, like I said, I had to work that program. It took a couple of years before I even saw a sliver of hope for me. Before I started feeling any kind of confidence. And now, things are great. They're not fabulous, but I'm living. I can pay my bills. I can see my kids. I'm going to a hockey game with my daughter Sunday. In a couple of weeks, I'm going, like next month, I'm going to a concert with my daughter. I'm going to another concert with my cousin. I'm going to another concert with my brother. And, years ago, they wouldn't even look at me, and I wouldn't look at them.
Right.
And my cousin gave me the hockey tickets. So it shows you how, things have changed, because I took care of his uncle when I started to get when I was sober, and he pays me back every year, every Christmas. He buys me like 2 tickets to a Flyers game.
Right.
And, this is all part of the building up and, looking at myself first. I have to look at myself before I do anything on the outside.
Right.
I have to want it. I'm going to have to work at it. And I'm just going to be, and whatever happens, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. And you just got to take that steady path.
Right.
Don't get too excited. Don't get too depressed. And, they say that a lot, at the meetings and all. It's basically the same old story, but it's just like those signs they have, one day at a time, and, all that other stuff at the meetings. But in the end, it's kind of true. You just can keep going. You keep doing that same pace. There's no time limit,
Right.
The journey's over when you're dead.
Exactly.
There's no diploma. That's another one too. There's no diploma in alcoholism. There's no cure. It's just learn and learn and learn. Take it all in. That's why I like the family meetings too, because, I learn from the people, in retrospect, like, wow, this is how they got hurt, and this is probably how I hurt the people that love me.
Right.
And I love them too. And, you learn from, I learn from I want to learn from every angle.
Right.
From my side, their side, anybody else's side.
Right.
Pick up. I might forget more than I've learned, but that's nothing new for me.
Well, that's age.
Larry,
Yeah.
if I get you this one favor, when you go to that concert with your daughter, if I give you a few bucks, could you grab me a Taylor Swift shirt?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. You'll get a Swiffer before you get a
I
Swift.
want to get one for my granddaughter.
Yeah. Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the Taylor Swift type, don't you? Yeah.
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 And Victoria's saying that she is taking care of herself now. She has set the boundary. She has asked him to leave, and he has moved out. And we always say in the family group, and everybody here that is listening, Larry is in recovery himself. He is the person that struggled with alcohol, and during COVID, there were no meetings that were open. So eventually everything started coming back to in person, and Larry started coming to our meetings and sharing his experiences, strengths, and hopes with his alcoholism. But he also learned, what he did to the families and why the families were so standoffish and angry. So that is, a great tool for us as family members to hear the other side, as well as our loved ones that are struggling or in treatment, to know, what they caused, and learn from it. It's, both sides, can really help heal the person. And I'm so grateful to have Larry to come in and share his experience with us.
Yeah, and I like it too. Believe me, I like going to the meeting and hearing other people's, stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's a learning thing, and I love it. Like I said, I want to get that sponge and soak in everything from every angle.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a nice, and when I started going to the meetings and they had the patients come in and the family members at the same time in the same meeting, what an experience to open our eyes to see the hope that there was, and to really understand what our loved ones are going through, because until you understand what they're going through, we don't understand the disease at all. And
just to hear the stories and the similarities, it makes you feel more normal. The way you're going through, it's like, wow, they're going through the same things that we are, and so forth. I mean, it makes you more, more comfortable in your own skin, knowing that you're not in it alone.
right.
It's
Yeah.
the big thing. It's very common, a lot of similarities.
And
You're not unique.
yeah, you're not. And it's just so strange. Like, even still, a lot of your recoveries on both sides, if it's a 12-step program, you're doing the same steps to try and figure out what part you played and how you can get past it. Pardon me. And it's unique. I think it should be taught, the day you're born, and we wouldn't be living the life that we're living in today's world.
Yeah, well, the problem is nobody wants to open up. Really, they're afraid, or they're, I don't want to tell these people this because it's not their business, and in the end, some things, sure, you got to keep private, but there are other things that you open up, and like you said, the meetings, it's different people with common problems. Doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, or how they feel, how their loved one feels, and you know, it's amazing. It's just like it, you know, at the AA meetings or when I was in Living Green, you know, people who had an addiction problem. You know, those who start to open up, and the people who listen, they start to open up because
Right.
they realize, you know, my story's not unique. It is in some sense, but basically, it's really not. I mean, it's just, you know, how you got there, you know, what are you doing about getting out of there? How, you know, it's how I sunk, and it's such a familiar story that I've heard in these places. And when I was in a recovery house, you know, I go to in-person meetings like today. I had a chair today at an in-person meeting, and it was snowing, you know, the snowstorm of the century. And
Right.
the one person who goes all the time, oh, I can't make it. Yeah, I went. I took a bus. I mean, I didn't want, because I'm one of those goofy guys who said, my car's parked in front of the house, and I'm not going to move it.
I'm
and
not gonna
'cause
get-
somebody else will take my spot. Yeah.
I'm not going to
But the
get
thing
shot
is-
for putting my chair or trash
Put your
can in
lawn
my
furniture
Yeah,
spot.
in
right,
the spot and all that. That's
Yeah.
a workout. It's easier just to take a bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
so
don't
I
live
took
in
a bus.
Philly, you don't understand.
Yeah. And,
It's
you know,
a
I took
Philly
the
thing,
bus up.
people.
Yeah. And, you know, because I showed up at the meeting, I was wondering if anybody would show up. Sure, 4 other people showed up. And if I hadn't been there, because I had the key to get in, they would have been waiting outside wondering what the hell happened.
Right.
And, you know, and they're people who are alcoholics, who want, you know, need a meeting, just like I need a meeting. And, you know, that was my commitment that day or today. And I went, you know. And, you know, it's like, do I need a car to go there? It would take me about 20 minutes or half hour to walk there. So it wasn't like it was a million miles away. But it was the idea of doing the meeting because it's, you know, you have the people who need a meeting, and I always need a meeting too. Just because I'm coming up on 7 years Monday doesn't mean that I'm done. You know,
Right.
And it's people who come in, they share, and, you know, they're glad that they came in. And, you know, I had the coffee commitment too, and I just go about my business here, do what I need to do. And, you know, chair, and we went for, as Bill sees a book today. And we did a couple stories, and we all shared on it, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I hadn't been there with the key, there'd been frustration for, you know, 4 other people because they needed a meeting and I needed a meeting.
Mm-hmm. They
And-
would have
and-
held that resentment.
And
Yeah,
Larry's
there
always
would
the
have been
first.
another
Larry's
resentment,
always
yeah.
the first
I
even in our
came-
meeting. Get the
I
chairs
came
all
all the
set
way
up.
here. What's that?
I said you're always the first at our meetings. You already got the chairs all set up and your seltzer commitment,
Yes.
Yeah,
your flavored seltzer
Yeah.
commitment.
bubbly. Yeah. The only kind of bubbly I'm drinking anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go and save me a ticket.
I will.
We will save you a ticket. We look
It's-
forward to seeing you.
Yes, I'm not sure if the
Yeah.
tickets are in yet, but I have them, and I am collecting the money. And once they get, I will put them in an envelope with your name on it, so I can get it to
Okay.
you.
Take an IOU?
Nope,
Nope. Okay.
no
Well,
tickets
see you
will be
Wednesday,
sold
right?
at the door. Yep.
Yep.
See you Wednesday.
Okay, good. And I can share a little bit there because Monday's my anniversary. I can share a little bit Wednesday and Friday.
Cool.
There you go.
Go, buddy.
Awesome.
Okay.
Larry, thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
calling in, bud.
Yes, always good to
Okay.
hear from
Always
you.
good to hear from you, Larry.
Yes. Even if I'm pissy.
Even if
okay.
you're,
See you later.
even when you're pissy.
Yeah, especially when you're
Yeah.
pissy. We have something to
Yeah.
talk about.
All right. See you.
All right, buddy.
Take
Good night.
care. That is our man Larry. He always has something good to say. He
Yeah,
always has
awesome guy,
something
awesome
great to
guy.
share. And you know, everybody says like it's redundant. Everything's redundant, but it is. That's
That's
recovery.
recovery.
And
You know, a lot of things are redundant. I mean, a lot of things get redundant on this show. I mean, we
yeah,
always get new people tuning in and all. I mean, we look at the numbers over there. So, you know, there's a lot of redundancy in it. You know, That's what recovery's about. I mean, that's why some people get bored with the meetings. They hear the same things over and over until they hear something different. And but it's about helping other people and helping yourself. You know, it's a
Right.
it's a whole community. You know,
It
so,
is. It is. And right now I'm seeing and I'm getting a lot of calls because people just don't know what to do. They don't know how to maneuver the beginning of recovery. And the parents and spouses are, working the recovery for their loved one. And it's so important that we learn that we need to step back. We need to step back and let them do what they need to do because we're not going to be the ones to fix them. We're not going to be the ones to make them understand that they have an addiction issue. They're not going to understand it until the consequences start hitting.
right. There's always denial. I mean, and especially in the beginning, and until they come to grips with that they have a problem and their addiction. They're not going to be taking the steps to rectify and make things better. I mean, sadly enough. I mean, but that's pretty common though. In the beginning,
I know
people-
it was for me. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me I can't fix this because that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. Just stop. Shake them. Make and
That's
until
in regards to our loved one she's talking
yes,
about.
and until you hit that education part and you learn that an addiction is just something that you can't control.
And the education part goes for the person suffering with the addiction as well as the loved ones and friends of this person. It goes both ways. We all have to educate ourselves on addiction to understand it, to know what steps we need to take
Right.
to make it better.
However, our loved ones won't be taking that step because they don't feel they have a problem. And that's where the problem starts.
It's like Larry. He says he never thought he had a problem. So, his cousin sat down with him and talked, and then he realized that he did have a problem, and he was the problem. And at that point, it was his epiphany.
Yes.
And that's when he started to embrace his recovery. He worked really hard to get where he is. I mean, you hear his whole story. I mean, taking buses to work, he was far away. I mean, the day would start at like 4 a.m. Take 2 buses to get to work to his job. Take buses home, and they go to a meeting with him, and then boom, go to bed and start all over again a couple hours later. I mean, he did it
And
for a
see,
long time.
that's something that the family also struggles with because I know with our loved one, it was, let's just go to the movies tonight. You work all day, you go to meetings all night, you go to your IOP, you go to a GOP. There's not much, downtime, but without that education, I didn't realize that
How-
90
and-
meetings in 90 days are the most important thing that a person
especially
starting
in the
in
beginning.
recovery needs.
And without education, you don't know what that person needs.
Right.
I mean, as I often said, we all think we understand addiction, because of past experiences with other people. But then when you really start to educate yourself on it, you realize you really don't know that much about addiction.
Exactly.
Most of what you know is more opinion-based than fact-based. It's sorry to say. And usually our opinion is very flawed. And I changed. That's why I can't get mad at people that think like that because I'd be a hypocrite. I was one of them people one time. To think, just stop doing what you're doing, pull your shit together, grow up, and stop doing it.
Right.
Not really realizing that it was way beyond being so simple.
Yep.
I mean, it may start out as a choice, but then, it manifests itself into a disease. It's easier said than done, just saying it's to stop.
The choice
not-
chooses you. And it's hard. That's a hard.
And people just have a hard time. One time you could have never told me that addiction was a disease. I would have said, get out of here.
Right.
It's just bad choices. It's just selfishness. It's this. It's that. It's not.
And it
Definitely a disease. I mean,
it is, and
After
it
talking with
does.
hundreds of people over the years, and
Right.
you know, it's just it becomes quite clear that
Right.
all
And-
these people don't choose
Right.
to live a life like this. I mean, nobody in their right mind would want
Right.
to live every day in the throes of addiction.
Exactly. It is their choice to pick up a drink. It is their choice to pick up a drug. It is their choice not to read the 1,500-page pamphlet in the pharmacy packet, and take that pill and do, whatever process, but you don't set out to become the addict.
Man, what are you vaping? It smells like a head shop in a bad part of town.
But
It's flowery.
And
Fruity.
it chooses you. It chooses that person with the addictive brain, because some people can go out and have a couple drinks and not be affected by it, but some people can't. And that's the difference. That's where you see that it is a disorder of the brain. And it grips onto some people and it doesn't others. So there it is, black and white. It's a disease.
Very
And-
well, very true, Stacy. What you're saying. I'm reading your post. Yep.
Yes. And everybody has their own path to recovery. Everybody has their own path to education. We can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Did you have to say that when I was taking a drink of water?
But that's what
Am I
it
reading
is.
too much into that?
That's what it is. And there's so many people out there that have a loved one at home, and giving them a comfy place to stay in their addiction, giving them a nice warm bed, a pillow, a heat for this horrible weather. And you don't realize that giving them all of that and not making them face their consequences can be detrimental to them staying in their addiction.
And remember, we all need consequences.
Mm-hmm.
We all live by consequences in our life. Like I said, why do you do the speed limit? Well, the consequence, you're going to get a speeding ticket if not. Why do you go to work every day on time? Because the consequence would be you're not going to have a job if you don't. So consequences keep us all on the straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm. And seriously, if you're not going to work, you don't have a house to live in, you don't have electric, you don't have water, these are all things that working provides. When you're not doing what you need to be doing, everything else falls to the wayside and you find yourself living on the street. And that's the unfortunate outcome to addiction. And it sucks, it really does, because you're there for a long time and you're like, okay, I got 15 years under my belt. It's my 70th birthday, I'm just going to have a drink to celebrate my 70th. And boom, that taste, that flavor, that
Sure,
that-
hey, it's been 25 years since I had a drink. I mean, what's one little drinky poo?
Yep. And what do they say?
One's
One's
not enough,
and thousands too many. And
or a thousand's not enough, and one's too many. Something like that.
yeah,
That's-
Eric knows it really well. But I mean that's the deal with it. You have to maintain your sobriety. That's the most important thing.
Sure. I mean, Victoria's saying there, she keeps the door cracked and all. It used to be an expression. What the hell? What love is it? We don't use it no more. I'm trying to. But you know,
Tough love.
tough love. Tough love used to be the expression. But we don't use it anymore now. The expression used nowadays, Victor, we call it disconnect with love. Where like you're not shutting him out totally. You leave, but he's experiencing consequences. You know, nobody says you have to hate your son. I mean, like, but he has to learn that he's done wrong. He has a problem, and he has to suffer the consequences for his actions. I mean, it's not easy for you, I'm sure, but it's something you have to do.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think he realizes that yet. You know, how hard it is for you to do this, but it's something that has to be done.
Yeah, we have to set consequences, or, you know, they're not going to see that they have an issue. They're not going to see it until they see that, okay, my drinking has led to a DUI. My drinking has led to me losing my home. My drinking has led me to lose friendships. Like, that's when the consequences start hitting in, and the more consequences, you know, the faster they see what's going on and how much they're losing. And clear for a bit, and I can only hope that he's finding some help for himself, because I couldn't do it for him. We can't do it for them. We can't. We can be there and we can say we love you, and we're
three
there.
C's. You didn't cause it. You can't cure it. You don't. I'm having a hard
didn't?
time with my brain today.
I'm telling you,
You didn't
we're
cause it.
snowbound.
Yeah, we're sorry. You didn't
You
cause
didn't
it.
cause it. You can't cure it, and you. Oh my gosh,
We're getting old.
this we are.
And the fourth C is you
What
don't have
is
to,
it?
you don't have to condone it under your own roof, but
Right. You didn't cause it. You didn't. Oh my God, I can't even think of it. So,
it'll come much before the end.
yeah.
Wow. That's one of our things we live by all the time. Like, oh my goodness.
No. Oh my God, that is so terrible. I can't even think of it. And I had a nap. But, you know, we have to set our limits. We have to set our limits to protect our sanity and our safety. And, you know, they're going to have to fall before they realize that there's an issue, that there is a problem that they cannot control. There it is. We didn't cause it, we can't control it, and we can't cure it. You know, that is,
And you don't have to condone it. That's
Right.
the fourth C we threw in every year.
yeah. And you don't have to condone it in your own home. This is your home. This is your safety net. And, thanks, Dawn. That's the fact. And in our parent group, there's so many people living at home with their parents. And we always say, you know, remember, they're a grown-ass man. They're a grown-ass woman. They, you know, you look at a bird's life, and mom lays the egg. She sits on it. She cares for it. She feeds it, and she teaches it how to fly. And once it learns how to fly, you know, they make their own nest. They do their own, you know, thing, and the circle just goes on.
I love all the analogies in recovery. It's great. You hear somebody saying good things. I really like Fred. You know, you start as a cucumber. Once you become a pickle, well, you're forever a pickle. You can never go back to being a cucumber.
Right.
But, you know, life goes on and you deal with things.
But that's, you know, I'm here for your recovery. Whatever I can help you with in your recovery is what I'm willing to do. That doesn't mean that you have to keep them at home. That doesn't mean you have to keep paying for their car insurance. their rent,
And fixing all their problems. I
and
mean,
fixing all their
and paying
legal
for all the
issues.
lawyers and this and that, and like you don't want them to have bad credit.
Right.
These are all natural consequences.
Right.
And though maybe under other circumstances it would be the noble thing to do, but when your loved one, your person is suffering from addiction like they are, you really got to sit back and take a look. Is this really in their best interest for them not to experience these natural consequences?
Exactly.
Because the cycle just continues to go on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Because there's that other saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. So it's a very thin line between being helpful and loving and being the enabler.
Right.
And that's what we had to be very cautious of.
And that's the one thing is we're giving too much. We want to make things easier. That's our job. You know, we want our kids to have better, to live better, and do better than we did.
Yeah, we don't want them to hurt. We don't want them to want food. We don't want them to be hungry or cold. I mean, that's our job as parents or as a spouse
As
or
a
a sibling.
spouse, yeah.
Anything just for our loved ones not to have to endure such things. But you know, when it comes to addiction, the rules of engagement have to change slightly, because if we're not careful, and I always say this, we can love our loved ones to death if we're not careful.
Yes, and we do. That's just what we do. And you know, it's not a fault. It's just, you know, we're learning to change the script. We're learning to do things differently so that they can feel those consequences, so that they can, you know, come out of that cycle. And
it's hard. It's not easy. But it's just something that has to be done. I mean, hard decisions have to be made. Mm-hmm. But you make them with love, you know, and it's just like another person used to tell us, he used to run our meetings, they say, you know, say what you mean what you say, just don't say it mean.
Right.
So there's all these little catchphrases and all in recovery, and they all sound hokey in the beginning when you first start, but the more you live with them and you use them, you realize how meaningful they are, and they help you remember things, you know, except when it comes to the 3 C's. I know why that escaped us again tonight. I don't know.
And I'll tell you,
I'm going to put that up on the wall of the studio.
yeah.
Just so we don't look like such tools.
But even still, there's the, you know, different education tools that are out there, different programs that are out there that help you learn how to separate that enabling and helping.
And if that don't work, sometimes it's a small explosive device. That's actually a preamp for a microphone. There is what that is there. Disclaimer, that's what was this in there. It's a preamp. Wasn't a real explosive. Sorry. Sorry, YouTube.
But that's what you need to do. You need to, you know, think about it, put it in the column if you need to. Like, okay, this is what they were doing. This is what I did. And this was the result. Now, did that help them or did that hurt them? So now you have to look at it as, okay, this is what they did. I changed doing that, and this is where they are today. So always think about playing out that tape and seeing what they did, what their issue is at the time, what part you played in it, and what was the outcome. And if it was not a good outcome, then you have to go back to look at the part you played into what could have changed that, what could have made that different. And I learned that through Smart Recovery. And I say it all the time, I love Nar-Anon literature. I just don't care for their meetings.
The format of their meetings.
The format.
But their message is great. Just the format of their meetings, it's just too structured for me. And
Yes.
you can't talk. You can't. It's just
Right.
Me and my lovely wife love crosstalk. I mean, we live for that, and that's not really allowed in R&I meetings. So please don't let us think we don't like R&I.
Right.
It's just that type of structure just isn't for us.
Exactly. It's not. I have to get off my chest what I need to get off my
And we got a
chest.
lot of great friends that are very heavily involved in R&I, and we love them dearly. And,
Yes.
and we go to one meeting on occasion
Yes.
to catch up with old friends and stuff, and their anniversary meetings and this and that. I mean, because we miss them.
Victoria, that is absolutely true. We have to remember that. We have to remember the parts we're playing and how to help ourselves so that we're not damaging them. So, oh my gosh, I have such dry throat. But that's what we need to do. We need to look inside ourselves and see the parts we play and how we can change that up. And the more you talk to them in a positive manner is the way you're going to help them move forward. We always are there to strike out at them when they're doing something wrong, but we never, share what they're doing right. And that's a fault of ours because, is today the day he's going to come home and put a hole in the wall? Like, our heads are always in the
Negative.
the negative cycle. And we need to bring out the positive cycle. What did he do today or her do today that stood out and was a path towards recovery? And sometimes finding that small little thing might be really hard to find, but find it. Or, discuss, back when you were in high school, I loved watching you do this, that, and the other thing, and it's a shame to see that, this lifestyle has taken that away from you. I would love to see you get back into that, things like that. Changing the conversation and putting more positive spins on it is the way we're going to help our loved ones. And, some of them won't get it, unfortunately. Some of them will not. And that's where you have to look inside yourself and say, there's nothing I can do. They need to figure it out, whether they do or don't. That is something that's up to them and not up to us. And we have to stay, hooked into
You're double
that.
now.
That's because I can't talk because I'm getting dry throat. But anyway, and it's a good time.
It's 10:29, people.
Yes, it's actually 10:30. So
10:30 now.
you guys are struggling, you need to talk. I am here. You can give me a call at 267-737-8031. Please reach out. You can text me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And we will be back here next Friday with with Larry sharing his anniversary and his experience, strength, and hope. So I hope you all come back here and check us out on Friday. And everybody have a great night and be safe if you're in these snow and ice areas.
Don't overdo it out there.
Be safe.
Barb, we know you got to run, got to get up, you got to turn that coffee on early.
Yes.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If any newcomers are out there, I hope you enjoyed the program. Please tell your friends. And we're not in this for the money. We're not monetized, but we would love to have many people tune in as possible. Spread the love and the knowledge. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Remember, recovery works if it works.
Yes.
Works if you work it.
Yes. Peace out, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. Be safe.
flashes of lightning